Okay, we are looking at the solving using the square root part of the test 10 review. When we're solving using the square root, basic idea is we want to get the x squared by itself on one side of the equal sign. This is also just like solving an equation, which we've been doing all year long. Solve an equation, you always start with looking at what you can add or subtract and get rid of that. Then we look at what we can multiply or divide, getting rid of that. And in this unit we added exponents are next, and then we can worry about parentheses. Parentheses will get down to these 6 on the bottom here, or sorry, 3 on the bottom here. First one we look at, x squared is already by itself on one side, so all we have to do is take the square root of both sides. We get x is equal to plus or minus 5, square root of 25 is 5. Number 2, we have x squared minus 7 equals 29. Well, we have adding and subtracting, so we need to use these. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. So we get x squared. Those disappear. That's 36. So x squared equals 36. We have our x squared by itself. Once we have our x squared by itself, we can go ahead and take the square root. So we get x is equal to plus or minus 6. Square root of 36 is 6. Please, again, if you add the square root sign, don't forget to put the plus or minus sign. Last one, addition subtraction first. When I subtract 5 from that disappears. I get 37. Then I look over here and there's a 2. I need to get rid of the 2. That's multiplication division. Undo it. Cancels. X squared equals 37 over 2. With this, I can already tell this is not going to reduce, become simpler, and it's not going to work out to an even number. So in case you forget, if you want to put a fraction or division in the calculator, you can always do alpha y equals and get this box, and then we have 37 over 2. 37 over 2. So you can see it does not reduce. If we want a decimal answer, we can always press math, decimal, enter, and there's our 2 values. So I can also say that this is 18.5. Now I have x squared by itself, and it equals 37.5. When I have the x squared by itself, I can take the square root of both sides. So I get x is equal to the square root of 37 over 2. I can't do anything to that. Likewise, if you use the decimal for it, instead of this right here, if you said it equaled to 18.5, you would take the square root of that, and it'd just be, need a plus or minus there, plus or minus the square root of 18.5. Either of these would be correct. Now let's look at number 4. Number 4 has these evil looking parentheses on here. Whenever you have the parentheses in these, what you're going to want to do, instead of getting the x squared by itself on one side, you're going to want to get the parentheses by themselves on one side, just like you did the x before. So we have the parentheses on one side already. So once we have that, we can take the square root of all of that. And when we take the square root of all of that, we are simply left with what's inside. We're up here. We took the square root of x squared and got x. Well, here we took the square root of x minus 4 squared, and we got x minus 4. So basically what's in there, what's being squared, just comes down. And then that's plus or minus 7 right there. Now we have this minus sign. Now we have to basically go through our solving steps one more time. Get rid of this negative 4, add 4. When we add 4, get something weird here. So I like to put this 4 that we added there first, and then the plus or minus 7. The plus or minus is actually 2 numbers. We have a positive 7 and a minus 7. So I'm going to split this up into 2 different problems. I'll put a line there. X equals 4 plus 7, and x equals 4 minus 7. and then I solve that. When I solve that, x equals what, 11, x equals -3. Those are my two answers right there. Next one over here, number 5. My parentheses part, my parentheses squared, not by itself. I need to get rid of that 3. So I'm dividing all that side by 3 and all of that side by 3. 3's cancel to 1. I get x minus 4 squared is equal to 48 over 3. If you need help with 48 over 3, again, you can do that alpha y equals thing and do 48 over 3. It reduces to 16. If it was a fraction, you could have left the fraction. So what is it? 16 there. Now that we have that parentheses part by itself, square root there, x minus 4 plus or minus 4 right there. Plus 4 right there, those cancel out. X equals 4 plus or minus 4. Separate that into two pieces, and we get x equals 4 plus 4, x equals 4 minus 4. And when we solve those, x equals 8, x equals 0. Those are my two different values there. The last one, same general idea. Divide by 2, take the square root, minus 3, those are your steps. I'll let y'all go ahead and do those on your own.